Hello everyone, I am Yasmin Menezes and today I'm going to present my research proposal which title is How the Lottery graphic novel adaptation changes the perceptions about Shirley Jackson's short story. Well, The Lottery is a short story written by Shirley Jackson. Uh, it was written in 1948 and it was first published in the New Yorker. When it was first published, the readers got confused and they didn't like the short story, but over time, the lottery became a literary classic within United States literature. Here I put a quote from the short story just to give the vibe the short story start. This is, if I'm not mistaken, the first sentence of the short story. The morning of June 27th was clear and sunny, with the fresh warmth of a full summer day. The flowers were blossoming profusely, and the grass was richly green. Well, Shirley's short story starts with this vibe of a small town that has this its folk, its townspeople, and you think there is a calm, a smoothie story, but the Lotus is really about rituals and traditions that can be cruel sometimes, but people insist into keeping it because they don't know how to stop it. So, summarizing uh, the lottery story, we have this lottery in this town, and um, at the beginning, we think the winner of the lottery is going to win something good, but we start to notice that the vibe, the sensation of people is not so good during the raffle. So we see people seem a little afraid, and in the end, we readers discover that the lottery is actually not something good because the person who wins the lottery is stoned to death by its neighbors, the other people of the town. And the story became a classic because it explores this ritualistic, this tradition aspect of people. Here I'm talking about the lottery adaptation. It was adapted in 2016 and it was created by Miles Hyman, who is Shirley Jackson's grandson. And Miles Really, Miles talks how he admired his grandmother, although he didn't get to know her so much. She passed away when he was a child. So him talks about how he came up with the idea of this adaptation, and he claims that his adaptation retell Jackson's short story in his own language. Hima is a graphic novel artist. He has other graphic novel works, and his work with the short story, this adaptation, adds new meanings into the original short story because Hima not just brings images to the lottery, but he also ex- explains his motivations, his reasons, and he makes this graphic novel as a homage to his grandmother, and he he really retell the story in a different language. So, about what is a graphic novel? Graphic novels have emerged as a new category within the comic book genre. The graphic novel genre may be described as one that uses a printed medium to mix images with text. According to Elaine Martin, a few core elements of graphic novel are multi-layered narrative, common presence of adult themes, and social political criticism. Nowadays, we can find a lot of adaptations into the graphic novel format, and this is a rich field to explore. About adaptation, here I bring two scholars who talk about adaptation. There are Julie Sanders in her book Adaptation and Appropriation, and Linda Hutchon in her book A Theory of Adaptation. They talk about the adaptation as a concept, the aspect, the conceptualization of what is an adaptation, how we can tell what is an adaptation. And here I bring some other scholars that have have theories more in the way to capturing the futures and the tools that are used in the process of adapting stories. So this chapter name is adapting stories into graphic novels because it tells about the process of adapting. Those scholars are Lisbeth Klastrup and Susanna Tosca, who talk about their theory of transmedia words. Transmedia words is a theory that talks about how to build a story world. We have Gerard Genet, who talks about the paratextual aspect of a text and how those symbols influence in the reading of a text. And we have Abigail Derecho, who has archontic literature theory, which basically talks about how all the texts of a piece of literature, uh, all the adaptations of the same text have the same value and belongs to the same archive. And my methodology is a qualitative methodology. My research is based on the analysis of the two incarnations of the lottery, the graphic novel and the short story, and the analysis of the theories, the adaptation theories, thinking about the texts, the literature pieces. My schedule is presented in a form of a chart with the work steps that will be required to complete the work. And the schedule will take place between the months of August and December. And my expected results are in are oriented in thinking about new perspectives on adaptation theories, the promotion of awareness about the possible tools that may be used to adapt written stories to the graphic novel genre, to deliver some new findings about meaning variation concerning adaptations, and encouraging the development development of new research in this field. Here are my references, and thank you for listening to me.